We're back, and it's another edition of Inspirations with Carmina. You know, we like to introduce you to new sounds and new music, and I'm excited. Today, I've got a very special guest. This young man has done some pretty amazing things, and he's back with some more great music. I'm talking about the one and only Alvin Garrett. He's got something special, or should I say, something different this time. Let's get into it. It's Inspirations with Carmina. All right, it's another edition of Inspirations with Carmina. Y'all, I'm excited to talk to this gentleman right here, Mr. Alvin Garrett. How are you, sir?
I am wonderful. How are you, Carmina?
I am wonderful, and I'm so thankful to have you joining us today. Now, first, I got to check in on you. You being safe, and you got all your masks and everything. You being COVID free?
Listen, I don't care how quickly they open this stuff up. I'm like, y'all open up. I'm gonna keep it slow and chill, mask up, and this is not over. So I am taking the most caution that can be taken. But most of all, I know who to trust to cover me with from the things I can't see. But I'm definitely staying very cautious. Me and my family.
Amen. I'm so glad to hear that. And heard your song, and so many different things come to mind. And we're going to talk about it, the brand new single, and of course, the new project that's to come. But all I kept thinking was, even with this pandemic, this is something different this time.
It is. Yes. Yes.
It just
Yes.
relates so perfectly. But I want to introduce you to people that may not know. I mean, you have a immaculate resume, but for those who do not know, you've been blessed. I mean, you've been successful on the R&B side as well as with us on the gospel side. Just give people a little quick history of Alvin Garrett.
Well, I'll say I started off as a musician in church. My dad is a pastor. I'm from Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Went to college, got a business management degree, worked corporate for about 2 years, left to pursue music. That led me to a gentleman named Fred Jerkins in terms of my production career. He took me under his wing. From there, got a Grammy nominations, Soul Train Award, Dove Award. Wrote a lot of songs for R&B artists such as Joe, Fantasia, Kelly Rowland, to name a few. And then on gospel side, working with Fred Jerkins, Dietrich Haddon, Trinity 5-7, Lowell Pye. And so I've just been blessed to, sort of honestly be behind the scenes for most of my career, but having my fingerprint on a lot of things. And so I released my first radio single in 2015, a song called By Myself, which did very, very well. And a lot of people across the country heard that song on multiple platforms: gospel, blues, R&B, urban AC. But a lot of people didn't know who I was. A lot of people didn't get the chance to see my face. So now here we are in 2020, and you get to see my face. And I believe that God is allowing me to have gone through, like I say, pretty much 20 years of growth and development to prepare me for this time that we're in now.
Wow, wow. And talk about that for a moment, because it's one thing when you're behind the scenes
Hmm.
and you're watching other artists, bring your music to life, but now it's all you.
Yeah. Yes.
Was that an easy transition for you, or did it take a little something?
Well, it really wasn't a transition, shall I say. It's all been a building process. I love every uh, step of the way. Every building block for me has been like going to school. You can't go to college and graduate the next year. You have to build. So I'm a learner. I love to learn. So whatever place I was in, I saw it as a blessing and an opportunity to learn. So like say meeting Fred Jerkins, he taught me about how to write songs properly, how to choose melodies, how to structure songs. So even in that season, learning from a veteran like that, I saw it as God training me for my own time. And so like now we're we're production partners. And so to go from being a student to a partner is just a testimony to not despising where you are and getting the most out of where you are as you believe and see and have faith towards where you're going. So, what shall I say? The transition, it was all a part of my faith, saying, "Okay, I know where I'm going, but I value each stage that I'm at."
That's good. That's good. So I got a hard question for you then.
Okay.
Okay. You ready for it? So
I'm
what's
ready.
your favorite?
Ready.
What's your favorite? Is it songwriting? Is it singing? Is it production? Is it whipping out the bass? What's your favorite? You can only choose one. I'm only giving you one.
Oh,
Yeah,
don't make me
come
choose
on.
one. Ah,
Only one.
okay. Well, I have to answer it this way.
Okay.
If I have to, ugh, I'll say I gotta give it up to my first love,
Okay.
right? No,
Okay.
because I I would have answered that, but since you're making me force rank, I gotta give it up to my first love,
Okay.
which is bass.
Okay.
That was where at 11 years old, I fell in love with watching a church musician play, and I told my dad, who's a pastor, that I wanted to play. He bought me a bass guitar, and he actually just prayed for my hands to learn. He said, "Lord, anoint his hands to learn how to play." Now, my dad can't play a lick. I don't know anybody in my family that can play an instrument. But he touched my hands, and the rest was history. So that is no matter what I'm doing. If I pick up a bass, that's when I feel it's like a little line is blank. I feel most at home, most comfortable. Although, if you gave me two options, I would have answered that differently. But
Well, see, now you done put it out there like that, so now everybody wants to know. So, what is number two? Or what would have been the order if I'd given you two?
well, I would say being a singer songwriter,
Okay.
being a singer songwriter. I put them together um, because that allows me to tell my story as to who I am, not just what I do. Bass is what I do, but has never been who I am. Me being a singer songwriter allows me to say who I am, to walk in who I am. It facilitates more of my mission in life a lot more than my instrument. So I would have ranked that first if I was given two. But it's hard not to, honor your first love, how you began. So you know what I mean. So
Right.
I absolutely love where I am now, being able to speak and say what's in my heart. That's a powerful place to be. And having spent so much time behind the scenes, you don't have any control over what that artist does when they have the mic, when they're sitting in this chair.
Right.
You could write the best song in the world, but they're the ones sitting in the chair. So the world will hear it as they interpret it. You know what I mean? So me being able to sit in my own chair, have the mic, shall I say, I can speak for myself, for my own music. And that's a beautiful place for me.
Gotcha, gotcha. And you know what? It's funny. Those are the two things that I admire the most. So I love the bass. Never,
Okay.
ever, ever been able to play it ever, but I just admire bass players because it's just some things you can do on the bass that no other instrument to me can pull off. So I just love the bass, and then I admire singer songwriters because, like you said, you can tell a story.
Yeah.
And so many people want to be singer songwriters. It takes a very special gift. So a songwriter can get inspired all kind of ways. For yourself, it could be something that you experience in life. It could be a sermon, maybe that your father may share. Tell me, for you, how does it happen?
Well, I'm a very observant person.
Okay.
I feel and I look around and I see what's going on in society, or I like to tell stories. So my first solo project was actually a love project, an R&B project, but I wanted to tell the story of love and intimacy from a man to a woman's perspective. So I told that story, and if you listen to that album, you won't feel dirty. You
Mhm.
won't feel like an object, but I made sure that that story was told. And then as I grew in my artistry, I found that my faith, and my perspectives and my thoughts on my faith and how I live my life was something that I can embrace a little more and push a little more than just that type of music. So I went down the lane of the by myself and found that that inspiration caught on coming from me, and so
Mhm.
I've just kind of followed on that in that path, and I absolutely pay attention to what's going on in society. And this new project that I'm working on was directly inspired by what's going on in our country right now and in our world. So I would say that I'm inspired by what I see and feel, and the messages that I want to put out into that world.
Gotcha. Gotcha. And I want to make sure everybody knows July 15th. Say it with me now. July 15th, the brand
July
new
15th.
project is going to be available, The Awakening. And I want to talk
Yes.
about the lead single, but tell us about some of the other music that makes up this project.
Well, I literally recorded and finished this project in 30 days. I mean,
Really?
literally, yes. When I say it came to me, I recorded it, boom. I said I wasn't messing around. Uh, the second song, something different this time, is the first song. It's only 5 songs. And I chose that amount of songs. Songs, Grace is the number 5. And second song is It Starts in the Heart, and it's a song about, who are you watching? Who are you following? As you see a rise in, shall I call it, hashtag leadership. You know,
Mhm.
we are influenced to take action based off of who sends it and who tags it, right? That's a conversation. But
Mhm.
who are you following? Where are they leading you? Are you further than where you began with this type of leadership? That's but it starts in the heart. After that, it's a song called Two Fifths, and it's an amazing, amazing song where we're working for our 2/5. They got us on the books as 3/5. Well, so what are we doing? We're working for our 2/5, right?
Right.
So that one right there, I think, is one of the most uh, the best songs I've ever written in terms of digging into each line and what each line means, the poetry in each line, the history in each line. I'm very, very proud of that song, Two Fists. So I think people will really enjoy that one. And therapy. Therapy is what we all need. And therapy comes from finding our way to our knees and looking up. That's one of those songs that after you realize that something is different, after you are struggling with who you're following, and you realize that you're working for your 2/5, you're
Mhm.
gonna need some therapy. But when you get that therapy, you find out that you can be free, right? That I have never asked nobody in this world to give me freedom. I asked the Lord above for freedom. And even with everything going on, we can find freedom by going to the place, going to the hill. And that's what is exciting about this. It's very quick, but it's to the point. It sums up a lot of the emotions that people are having, but it gives you also a place to go, which is up. That's the only place. You cannot ask a stated opponent for freedom or your 2 fists.
Mhm. Right, right, exactly. I love it. So this project is like even though it's only 5 songs, it's like a journey though. Like you said, you're taking us through and taking us up. I'm really excited about that. But I got
Absolutely.
to talk about this lead single.
Yes,
I'm
yes.
gonna put me on out there. I heard
Okay.
the song and I was like, wait, what? Who? I start calling people. Hold on. But one, I was touched by what it was saying, and then it was just so doggone funky.
Mm. Say slow funky. It's slow and funky.
It's just funky, but I love it. I mean, I just love the flavor of it, and of course, at that point, I was like, I needed to know all things Alvin Garrett. I'm telling you. So
Yes,
you got some
yes.
cousin now. I'm telling you, you can't shake me. You stuck with me now. But
I'm welcome.
it just had an amazing flavor. And then when I read about it, I know you were inspired by the unfortunate passing of George Floyd, but it it just wow, you just found a way to so creatively sum up what so many of us are thinking and feeling. And I know you were just sharing your heart, but you had to have known that there were so many people who felt the same way.
Absolutely. And that's what makes a lot of the music that I write special. I get into a place and it's not just about me. It's love. I'll go ahead and say it. It's love. It's the ability to connect with other people. Empathy. I always write with empathy. And so by just being aware, and something different uh, was not just a result of George Floyd. I was noticing something different before George. COVID to me was the something different. I was like, something's different right now. And people are caring that normally wouldn't care. There's a humility that happened on the whole earth. And, the Bible says you can humble yourself or he can do it for you. Well, through that, through this disease, there was a humility that came over the whole earth. Rich, black, white, poor, everybody could die at the same time, which connected us in a different type of way. So I was sort of sensing that something's different. This is like people are checking on each other, you know, caring about each other a little differently because we could see ourselves in each other. And so when George Floyd happened,
Mhm.
it reached across the aisle a different kind of way because they had already started being aware of their humanity in a different way. So I was like, something's different this time. People are asking and checking on you that have never checked on you. Because to me, if you see Philando Castile and that doesn't bother you, then nothing will. You know, seeing a man murdered in front of his child in the back seat and his old lady. If that don't get to you, I don't think anything can. If you don't, you see what I mean? Not
Right.
point to a particular person, anybody, if
Mhm.
that doesn't bother you, because I'm a father and a husband, to see that. But this one resonated differently. And I was like, something's different this time. Like tears are falling from eyes you hadn't seen tears falling from. And so that is where, for me, it's like, wow, you know, something's different. And I'm not the only one because I'm getting emails from companies that usually send emails about software.
Mhm.
They're sending emails about social justice. I'm like, something's different. You
Yep.
think everybody knows it. So that's why when this song came out of me, and I have to acknowledge when I sit down and write a song because I am very methodical.
Mhm.
I teach a class on songwriting. But
Okay.
then when a song comes out, I give God the glory because I sat down and started singing. This song came out. I didn't write one word down. So I have to give praise to God for utilizing me to send this message out. And if it came from Him, He knew that you and everybody else was feeling what I was feeling. So
Absolutely. Well, it is indeed a beautiful, beautiful song, and we're honored to support it here on our platform. And again, I just can't even thank you enough for spending this time with us today. I want to encourage everybody. They can download the new single now, right? They can go ahead and
yeah,
get it on all digital platforms. And the
yeah.
new project, The Awakening, July 15th. Save that date. Of course, you'll hear me talking about it. So we got to make sure we support this young man and his amazing gift. And just thank you for being a blessing. Can I just say that?
And I'm honored and grateful for you taking time to speak with me. I don't take anything for granted, so I'm just honored.
Well, I appreciate you. I appreciate you, y'all. We got to get into it. It's the brand new single. It's Alvin Garrett. It's the song Something Different this time. It's Inspirations with Carmina.